Oh, it's so exciting. I'm finally on.
All right. We're going to be going in 3, 2, 1. And we're live. And we're live, big guy. What's up, big Dusty?
You know, just living life. It feels weird to finally be back on. What has it been? A month and 2 months since
2 months?
Since you had the little operation in the side shaft.
Was it 2 months? I feel like it's been a little bit longer.
It may have been.
For those who don't know, Dusty here was kind of okay. To call him the inspiration is wrong.
You could say co-founder.
One day we were really drunk and we were just having good conversations, and both of us were like, "Dude, we always have good conversations. We should start a podcast." And we did. And he's a little bitch and he bailed, which is fine. You know, I never really knew you had this. I didn't think you had the stuff, you know, to it. But, you know, you can come in as a guest. That's fine. Whatever. But he's finally here. And I said, "Look, man, what do you have?"
Got one bourbon.
And you might have to show it a little bit higher.
One bourbon. One scotch. And one beer for each of us.
I ain't got the money, man. Well,
cheers to the podcast.
Cheers.
One thing I would like to say is that song that you use. Do you remember where you got that song?
What song?
For the podcast, like the one that you use for the videos and stuff.
Oh, for like the intro? Well, it wasn't the intro. It was like the trailer. I do know where I got it.
Yeah, it's from me.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
I told it to you, bro.
No.
Yes, I did.
That's not true at all, because I remember when we first heard that song is while we were in talks to the podcast, and I thought you knew the song, so I was like, oh, fuck. Like, and then you're like, dude, I've never heard this song before. Like, it's really good. Because it was that, or it was the second half of the... shit. It's a song for a show, and it's only the second half is really good. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. But I got that song off of Tales from the Borderlands.
That's such a fucking lie.
The jungle song?
That is such a
You are a liar.
The making money one? Yeah.
I don't remember. You might have mentioned it, but I never listened to you, so...
That was all me.
I guess not.
So basically, this podcast was my idea. The song was my idea. I want my name on top of all this.
Typical fucking Dustin Jones saying that everything is his. Everything is his. He came up with everything.
This one was mine. Just a little gassy.
Unbelievable gassy. So what we drinking? Let them know what we drinking.
So if you didn't know, Eddie and I met in Kappa Alpha Order. And their Kappa Alpha Order's drink is Maker's Mark whiskey. This went down really smooth. Actually, way smoother than I thought.
Maker's Mark's amazing.
That Colts game was interesting because we polished off a quick half of this bottle. Big fan of that. Second, we got the Scotch, Johnny Walker Red Label. Now, Eddie, they had the choice of buying this little guy for like $12, $13, or they had the Black Label, which I could have spent like $23 on. Like I got us the Red Label.
No, that's good. That's good. The Black
and then
Label.
beer, just a personal favorite, some Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, handcrafted in California. Chico Kills.
I love how everybody comes on the show and they always have a unique beer that they like to drink, and that's always fun. But the reason why we're drinking this is me and Dustin, we kind of didn't really like each other. He's just, he's kind of an asshole. I'm was way too sick in KA. He was kind of beneath me, And then we go to Big Bro, and Big Bro is basically just some frat stuff, but we go out into the wilderness and we go out into the desert, and so we do have to take a little moment of silence here for a certain little lady who we lost. Do you want to say some words, or
are we talking about Baby Fiona?
Yeah. She was a beautiful
Baby Fiona.
07? Was she an 07?
She was an 07 white 4Runner.
Amazing. She had the grill. She had the Yakima. All of it. She was
then,
dirty. She was a dirty little girl. She was a dirty birdie, that one. She was a dirty little birdie.
She was only dirty because of Big Bro. She was so perfect. She's got about 200,000 miles on her right now. She runs perfectly. But when you open the passenger door, it still squeaks. And the front right panel is just so fucked up.
It's so fucked
because
up.
of Big Bro.
So Big Bro, we would go off-roading. We would go out into the desert. And I drove an Altima, so it didn't work. And for some reason, I think the first time it just worked out our schedules. And we're like, do you want to go up a little early, And so we went up and we took your car. And it was awesome because it's a 4Runner. That's what they're built for. And for some reason, you wanted to have the windows down and to get the dirt all inside, to get it dusty.
She still has
to get it real dusty.
That was 3
Dusty
years ago,
wanted
and she
dusty
still has
car.
that. Yeah.
And just forever, some of the best memories I had of just going out there and Big Bro is listening to some Leonard Skinner and doing donuts out in the desert and drinking or listening to One Bourbon, One Scotch, and One Beer by George Thorogood, which is an amazing song. I mean, it's just anytime I listen to that song, it just reminds me like I have to be off-roading. I have to be off-roading.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a good like song. And so we thought it would be fun to
relive the glory days.
Now that we're fucking alone and losers and we, some just waste our time going to jobs. Some of us have jobs, some of us don't, but it is what
Cheers
it is.
to that.
Cheers to
Whenever
that.
I hear One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer, and then the live version of Hotel California.
Oh, that's another one. And I think I've told it on the podcast before, but I swear on my deathbed I will always remember. And it's like it's just one of those memories where you're like living it and you're like, holy shit, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. And it's just a visual of like the empty desert with a little just like ember, a little flame off on the right hand distance of our campfires. Mm-hmm. And you are just like, I'm handing you a bottle of whiskey, I believe, or was it rum? It might have been rum. And I just hear, oh shit, and you're just doing surgery on fucking Max's head because he has a huge choice stuck and you're just like, hang on to it. And you wanted to play the live version of that song to relax you so we could make sure that this kid didn't have choice stuck on the side of his head because we were off-roading in the middle of the desert. Like halfway through our run, we just had to stop because this kid got a choice.
So that memory sticks out. There's two memories that stick out. That one, I want to tell the full story about that.
Please do.
So Big Bro, like you said, it's a big K thing. So the first half of it is the traditional, fraternity. It's fraternity work. You got to put in. It's the
if you're not a K, it's too bad.
It's whatever. And then the second half is the fun stuff where you embrace the pledges as new parts of the family, and then you just go stupid. Part of what we did in our family is that we went off-roading, and we go out in the middle of the desert, like 2 hours away, middle of fucking nowhere. Civilization is gone at this point. So we're out, we're whipping around. This was the third Big Bro that I've been driving around. So I kind of knew the area a little bit.
You had your route.
Took Fiona. We had the route. And Fiona, she was doing so great. Oh, she was whipping it. And the way that the trails are set up, they're not really for whipping big forerunners through the trails. You can fit them. But the margins are pretty razor thin. And on both sides of the road, there's cactus everywhere. But Fiona, she fucking plows through those arms that are sticking out,
Yeah, it's like the Choya has like one.
Yeah, so they had the arms sticking out. Fiona's bursting through them, and we had the fucking windows down. We had all the windows down.
Well, we were trying to get fresh air.
Yeah,
I like breeze.
You can't out there. You have to have
put
down
the volume a little bit.
You have to have the windows down because then you won't get the same effect.
You get the nice breeze. You've been having a good time. It gets hot around the campfire. Still Arizona, so a nice breeze is good.
So we had Luis in the front seat, my passenger seat, and then David fucking Roberts was asleep in the back seat.
I don't know who let him sleep in that car because we had always slept in that. This is the way it worked. For some reason, like we were a duo. We were a duo, and like. We would take his car, and you would put down the back seats, and you would get yourself in the back, and I would just fashion myself in the front seat and the passenger seat, and I would I would finish a bottle because my family's drink was Jägermeister, which is pretty gross. But for some reason, I would finish the bottle by myself, whatever was left, and that would take me to sleep because I still couldn't sleep even if I wasn't drunk enough, I couldn't sleep. So if I was gonna sleep. In the front seat of a car, I needed a little juice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so at that point, like, that's what we did. And then I remember David was in there, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? This is our spot. Who let him in here?
David was asleep at midnight, and I was like, all right, this fucker wants to sleep in my car. We'll wake him up with some off-roading.
Yeah.
Windows down, blaring it through the desert. Full volume on music playing One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer and Hotel California.
Live version.
And the kid doesn't wake up once. The kid is like, for a second there, I was like, dude, something's up with David. Nothing's good with David.
We should check his pulse. He's eating one too many In-N-Out. In-N-Out 4x4s. He's dead.
And then we had Max, God bless Max's soul, in the very back of the car.
I know.
And we're whipping it, doing our thing. And then all of a sudden we make a hard turn. look down the desert road, and the cactus has an arm stuck out.
Well, the thing is, we wouldn't have hit it if you didn't have that grill. You had the grill.
Yeah. And Fiona like gets
the right side
by
of the grill just pops
gets clotheslined by it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Fiona just took out this cactus, but the windows were open. So my first thought was, holy fuck, Luis was sitting in the front seat.
I was sitting in the front seat. You were sitting in the back behind
I was like,
me.
this fuck. I just clotheslined him with a fucking cactus. Like, we just took and he was a pledge at the time. I was like, we just killed a pledge. Like, I just 40 miles an hour cactus to
just
this
through
kid's
the
face.
neck.
And so I slam on the brakes. I'm like, shit. Is everybody okay? Everybody okay? And I get 4 thumbs up. I have 3 thumbs up. You, I guess 2 because David was asleep. But you and Luis are like, we're okay. I'm like,
hey, you guys.
I'm like, fuck, we're good. I start pulling out, and from the back seat I go, hey guys, no, I'm not okay. Help. And I'm like, oh shit. And I look back. We stop the car. We go to the back, open up. Max is sitting there with fucking cactus just stuck in his head.
Through his hat.
So I try to very calmly do this. Eddie, could you please put on Hotel California, the live version?
This wasn't our first run-in with Choi, as I'll have you know. And it wouldn't be our last.
And so Choi is in his hat. I get just 2 random pieces of plastic at Fiona to try to just pry this thing off of his head. Ended up, after like the 3rd rendition of Hotel California, we're finally starting to get him out of his head. And they're in there, dude. I don't know, like, if that, it was deep, man, on his head. I was worried something was going to happen.
I thought it was just in his brain. Like, we were just going to move a needle and it was going to lights out.
And I pull it out. I get it stuck in my hands as pulling it out. But long story short, Max Boyce lived. We became great cactus doctors at this time. Beautiful memory. I don't think Max Boyce ever went on another big bro.
No, he might have not,
Second memory, the reason why we said our prayers for Fiona was the last big bro that we went off-roading at. It was like
the wheel.
It was like 2 big bros after that, and I had 3 littles. It was Eddie and I in the front seat, my 3 littles in the back seat, and we're fucking whipping it.
We're just doing it.
We were just
Same
doing
thing. We had the windows kind of halfway in. We're like a little cautious, but still, you need that breeze.
Same music's blasting. And
1 bourbon.
Then all of a sudden we hit a fucking pothole. It doesn't matter. It's Fiona. She can do it. And we start going again. And then I hear this. I'm like, oh, fuck me. Eddie, I think a flat tire.
Dude.
And so we get out. And it's
not
a flat tire.
A flat tire.
It was a rim with shard rubber connected to it. And the pledges were pretty fucked up in the back.
Of their own accord.
Yeah. Well, this was their doing. And just as I said, we're 2 miles out in the fucking desert boonies. We had no cell service, no nothing. Thank God I had a jack and a flat and a spare in the back. Honestly, I've thought about that, man. If I didn't have either of those things,
that car would have been left out there.
Oh,
I mean, remember Phil's. Phil's was just down the line. They left that thing. Or no, it was Cooper's. They left that thing there.
Yeah. And then so at the same time, Cooper's truck, a little bit down the trail, got stuck up on a fucking
They thought
cactus.
It was a bush. No, they thought it was a bush. So they were off-roading and they're like, oh, it's a little bush. So they tried to go over it, but it was a little tree. So it hit the thing, and then they brought the tree stem, like the roots up with it. And so the truck was at a 45-degree angle frontwards with the roots of this tree like just underneath it, just holding. And they were all too inebriated.
That was one of my best teaching moments as Pledge Master, because we could hear them yelling at each other, freaking out about how.
And you and I are just like.
And we told the pledges, the 3 pledges in our car, we're like, we're gonna stay calm.
We're going to stay calm. We're going to do this. One of them bailed. Bailed.
I'm pretty sure this and walked home.
I'm pretty sure the other dropped strictly because of that. The kid from Colorado. Dropped strictly because he was like, fuck this, dude. I'm done with this.
And so we said, okay.
The one kid who didn't drop Jack got a Choya on the way out. Because so basically, like, we fixed it.
We told the pledges, all right, we could hear the other car bickering in the background and say, we're not going to fucking do this. We're going to fix this tire and we're going to go home. I'm done with this. And then it only took us like 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
And we were fucked up, except for you because you were driving.
Yeah.
We were fucked up. I was fucked up, and I was the mechanic here,
And then cell phone flashlights, didn't know how to work the jack, didn't know how to fucking work the tire. Half of it was trying to get the tire down.
Well, the problem was it was so fucked up and it was so screwed, we couldn't get it out because the actual, like, rim itself had bent over itself, so we couldn't yank it out. I think we had to just like kick it or use the jack to like move it back so we could actually take the rim out.
But we got it back, and we got it back. We finally
well,
got
the
it
wheel well
up.
had come in too.
Oh god damn it! That front panel is still so fucked up, dude.
Oh my god!
I'm trying to trade her in the next couple months, and she's basically worth parts because of that fucking thing.
No, she's worth parts.
And dude, all right. So a tangent on this story. She still has tire problems, like her front tires. I fucking got a flat tire from San Diego to Phoenix in the middle of the desert.
Oh.
And I didn't have a spare because I used my only spare at Big Bro.
You never got a replacement?
2.5
Wait,
years
did
ago.
you not replace that tire?
Never.
You drove on a spare
Well,
for the
it
rest of the
was
time?
a legit tire. That was a legit.
Oh,
one.
it wasn't a spare tire.
Yeah,
Okay,
it wasn't like a donut.
Okay.
And then
I'm
so
like yelling. It was just freaking me out, dude.
yeah. And then so that gets popped. I have to get a tow truck that took me 2.5 fucking hours to get out to me because I didn't have a spare. Thank you, Big Bro. All of it, but it wore the tires because the axle just was off enough, so it would wear the tires really bad. They'd only last like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Fiona. So we get the tire back on, back to Big Bro. We're like, fuck it. We're done off-roading. Everybody has their shit. We're going fucking home. I'm not doing this anymore. And
that was the first time and the only time ever where we didn't decide. Like, we were just so dumb. We were older. I think I was a senior. You were a junior.
Yeah.
And we were just like, dude, we've had enough. We've done this like 7 times. Like,
I didn't want to sleep in my car.
because I'm only a year older than you, KA-wise. I'm 2 years, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like I only had 2 before you. So we were pretty like done with it. And like
Oh,
that was your
shit.
year because that was your boys. But like it was just like we were done. And we were just like, oh, we're going home.
going home,
We're going
boys.
home. It's
We're
like
going
4 in the morning. We're like, we're going home.
And we're beelining it through the desert. It was basically just straight path at this point, so we're not.
Well, the
hopping
problem
more
is that
tires.
Thomas wanted to come with us. Thomas wanted to come with us because his car was left at the entrance, and he's like, "I'm trying to leave. Just take me to my car." So we're like scrunched into your car.
Polar's got his feet out of the window, which I'm not taking any blame for him.
Why
getting
he did
fucking
that.
cactus in his foot. But I'm just like, I'm pissed off. I'm like, I'm going fucking home. I have a shit ton of drunk people in my car. I just fucked up my car, and we have a 2-hour drive in front of us. I'm just fucking here we go. And same thing where cactus arm is a little bit out, and the car fucking brakes by it, and then
This kid has his leg outside of the window.
And that cactus found every piece of real estate on that kid's leg.
Just
it was like
nerves left and right.
I'm pretty sure he still
Everywhere.
has scars from it.
Dude, and I've shown it before. I've shown the ones of Sam where he's gotten the choice.
Oh, that was
the
the
choices
worst
at
one.
Big Bro are not. That was your first year.
Sam,
They're no
yeah.
joke. They are no joke. Like, you do not fuck with choices. Like, I know we're going hunting, and Aaron just got a new dog. He wants a bird dog, and he's like, we're gonna have to find new spots because I don't want to take him anywhere near choice.
Dude.
It's
yeah.
like how you gun train a dog. I'm pretty sure you have to like Choya train a dog.
Dude, fuck. I couldn't imagine that. I would get so much anxiety if I had a dog around that. I can't. I get anxiety just having myself around that because of the same thing. The car ones, Jack's one, Max's one wasn't that bad, but Sam's one Sam first year I was a pledge. I was like on the outside of the fraternity, but looking in, but kind of part of it. So I thought these kids have their shit together. They know how to figure things out. They could do it. We're running down from Mulberry Hill. Sam thinks he can beeline it to the bottom.
He was too drunk.
He goes, old Sam fucking went
Old
for
Sam.
it. And then we hear, shit.
I was recording it. I was like, oh no, he's down. I've shown it. Somebody brought it up, and I've shown it on the podcast. I've shown the videos of it,
my
dude.
God, man. I get anxious thinking about that. So he falls on this cactus, and he's just completely covered. His upper body is just covered. And then I was looking around as a pledge because I thought like, oh, I didn't know much about Tagliente, but I was like, oh, Tags is my big. He'll figure this out. He's Sam's friend.
No.
Tags got it covered.
Is his roommate?
Luke didn't have fucking shit.
It was all me and Casey.
And Sam, like, even in he's so drunk that he was just numb, but he could feel it.
Oh, God.
He was shaking. He's like, help me.
It's the day old Sam died.
Oh my, yeah, dude, that's what killed old Sam. It wasn't Haley. It wasn't getting older. It was the fucking thought of the cactus.
We wish that was the truth, but old Sam he powered through that semester and the next.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yeah, that.
It's too good. Dude, we're supposed to be talking about the shit in the second part.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's just too many good memories. But there is something I do want to talk about with you. And we have 10 minutes, but we can go a little bit longer than usual. And this is sort of what brought it up. So to give you a heads up, my senior year and your sophomore year, we moved into what was the Villas, which was ASU's attempt to get fraternities to live together. So they were kind of these
On
condos.
campus.
They were condos. They were 3-floor condos, 4 bedrooms apiece. And they were intra-fraternity, so multiple fraternities living next to each other, by each other in the same area. They're like, well, if they don't cause problems, then we'll go on and build Greek villas, which are our Greek houses, which
Greek
they eventually did.
Yeah.
So you're welcome,
Go
whoever
us.
lives in
Yeah,
them. That
go
was us. And I think you were one of the first people to move into your place, and I was one of the first to move into mine.
First, yeah, August 1st.
And a certain game was coming out. It was No Man's Sky. And we were super psyched because we had been playing around with the idea. We had talked about it multiple times of how Earth is a simulation. And there is no evidence to say that it's not. And I have recently gotten a Oculus Quest VR set. It was $400. Probably my mom wasn't happy about it. My roommates weren't happy about it. My girlfriend wasn't happy about it. But I had been wanting a VR set for a very long time because I'd only tried it once before, and I thoroughly believe that this is the future. I thoroughly believe. People are very negative about it, but what made this one special and why I invested in it, because the way VR worked was VR gaming it was the headset, but it had to be wired, linked to a powerful gaming PC that ran the games, and then you just viewed them through the headset, and the headset had the ability to know where you are and your hands. With that, you had to put sensors around your room to notice where the headset was so you could walk around in it.
I don't think I knew about the sensor.
And the headset itself cost like $600. You had to have like a $1,400 computer. It just wasn't very easy to get into. Now, I believe in April or May, the Oculus Quest came out, and this is the first standalone VR headset, which means it has basically the processor of a like phone in there, like a smartphone in there. So everything's in there. The screen, it's not just a screen. All the processing, everything's in there.
Yeah, dude, that's a computer in there.
And there's a computer in there, and there's no wires. And it has cameras. It's got 4 cameras on the sides that link up, and they see where you are in space, and it runs whatever software it goes to see where you are in space. So you don't need sensors. You don't need anything. I can grab my Quest. I can go to my girlfriend's house. I can go in the living room, play. I can come back. I can play. I don't need to set anything up. It's literally, you just put it on, you draw your surroundings, and that's it. And that's the beginning of it. And you played it for the first time today.
I want one.
And I'd love to hear your experience of it, because the first time I played it, when I grabbed those cubes, I have never felt like such like wonder and awe.
Right?
To be like, holy, it's like the first time like you've felt like gotten in touch with the virtual reality.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear
like throwing that airplane. So I've done the Oculus one, the like best Oculus one, but I've only done the demos at Microsoft Store or whatever. And it was kind of, it was whatever. You're playing the demo games. But this one, throwing the airplane, like you mentioned, picking up the cube. So it makes you do this demo when you first get in there to kind of teach you how to do it. You can pick up things and throw it. You can throw airplanes. And it like 30 seconds in, I was like, Eddie, how much is this thing? And then $400, I was like, I'm fucking getting one. Like, I want this. And when I got out of it, when I took the things off, it felt like I was in another world when I came back into it. It felt like I was in a different place. I played that first-person shooter simulation thing, Pavlov, and I got a little bit into it. And then when I took it off to come back here, it felt like I just traveled from somewhere. It was the first time gaming experience that I really felt like I was somewhere else.
And the thing is like there are so many experiences that like we just don't have the time. Well, we'll probably do it afterwards. But you get lost in it, man. You really do. Like, there's a game. So what makes it special too is like, all right, so you can do that, and there are multiple games that you can put on the standalone. However, you can also link it up to a gaming PC wirelessly and play those gaming PC games like you could with the real Oculus, with the wired one. You need a really fast internet connection, which you do. You need a gaming PC. Luckily, Luke has a gaming PC, so we're able to play them. And so I really have everything, and it's like I can play these games that people play without a wire.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a game called the Township Tale. It's very simple. It's kind of like Minecraft, but like nicer. And like you literally just like go and you have to like cut some wood down to get some sticks, and you got your sticks, and you put a rock in it, and you go mining for ore, and you get ore, and then you smelt the ore, and with the ore they give you like a big block, and then you take the block, and then you grab like hammers, and you like hit out the thing, you know, and then you create like an axe, and so you have a metal axe and a copper axe, and then you put it on a new thing, and then it's like to make an actual like handle, you got to get like a piece of wood, and you got to take a chisel, and you got to hit a hammer and chisel it out, and like it's not super crazy where it's like actually doing it, but like for example, they have recipes. So let's say you want to make like a 4-foot handle. So you rip the page out of 4-foot handle, and you put it on the wall, and you like hammer it on the wall next to the area. And so then the computer knows. And so you grab the chisel, and then you hit it, and then it goes down to that item. Same thing with like the smelter. You like put the thing in, and it comes out. But it's really cool because like when you go chop down wood, you're actually like chopping down the wood, and they have it to where it measures your speed. So the harder and the faster that you hit the wood, the more you dig into it, and the faster. Yeah, if you're just sitting there like this, it's gonna take forever. But if you wind up and you hit the fucking wood, it takes some time to cut down a fucking tree. And it's crazy, man. You get into this shit, and like you gotta go like smelt iron, and you gotta like grab the iron, you gotta put it in there, and when you're going to mine, you gotta literally pull out your axe, and you gotta fucking hit the thing over and over and over, and it's like menial work, but it's crazy that it's virtual and you feel it. And you feel it. Like you know it's just doing the movements are insane. And I think in the future, this is a stepping stone. This is the 8-bit of what this is going to be.
So John Cormack, CEO of Oculus, I think his name is John, some Cormack. And he was on JRE a couple weeks ago, and he said this is the tip of the iceberg. This is like when we think it's so silly that our parents' generations look at when video games first became 3D, so not just the 2D rendering, but when there was actual depth to the games, they were like, oh my god, this is so lifelike, this is so unbelievably crazy. And now we can go back and be like, that looked like shit. Now we're at the point where we're using this VR stuff, and we're like, holy shit, like I feel like I was there. Our kids are gonna look back and be like, that was absolute shit. I can't believe Dad thought that he was actually there for that. And my dad can't even play the new games that we have because it's too real for him. I think he would get dizzy with that and not be able to play it because it's too real.
It's too real.
And it's getting to the point where it's and Cormac guy said that
one scotch.
You've
already got more.
Said that, so entertainment wise, this is gonna be great. Right now, there's not a whole lot of pressure for this to grow because honestly, this technology is really cool. But if you put it up next to if you load up the new 2K and can throw it on VR on Oculus, it's gonna be fun. But majority of players still want to play it on 4K TV on traditional consoles, not use anything. So there's always going to be the better, because even as technology grows, you can amp up these graphics and make it as lifelike as you can. You're going to be able to have that console graphics even better. But the thing that's really going to push it's two things. One, it's the porn industry, because that's pushed.
I've heard that.
That's pushed all the media, ever since Pong was a thing. And then business applications. When I don't have to go into the office anymore to sit in a meeting, I can already do that with a phone. But if I'm able to be there in person seamlessly without going in.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up.
That's what's going to push it past the consoles.
Okay, all right. And, we'll get a little creepy. All right? I've tried porn in it, and we spoke about it before. It's just not. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird because the field of view is awkward. Like, if I ever watch porn in it, it's just going to be on because you can just watch straight, in the 3D environment, you can just put up a screen, still watch it like that. But I've tried the 3D stuff. It's just weird, man. It's just awkward. And it's just not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I thoroughly believe that will never catch on. I don't think that will ever catch on, at least in the current iteration of it. to get the field of view, like you need like for sex, like sex is such a personal and intimate moment. Like I know you're a virgin, but like
cheers to virginity.
But like when you're with someone, it's just a lot. It's super intimate to where they're so close to you, but it's not obnoxious.
I get what you're saying. You still have that field of like, even if they're right here,
you still have your sense of space in there. When the actress is right there, it's just too much.
You know, when you and I kiss, you're still only taking up a third of my field of view.
Yeah,
right?
If even. You know, I got a small face.
Yeah.
But I don't think that will ever catch on. However, I thoroughly believe that it's going to be a mix of things. People say that we're overpopulating, that we're going to run out of space. We're not going to run out of physical space because when you drive from here to Tucson, you're like, look at all this space.
Well, what's the stat?
But
all the viewers could fact check me on this, but if you put the population of the world and put it in the same density as Manhattan, you can fit it in the state of Texas.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because as human beings, we need space, and density isn't necessarily our strong suit.
We're going to Mars.
Fine. But if we make it to Mars, I hope we do.
Not,
however, I'm saying before, the politicians get that, because until Mars like finds gold and money, we're not going out there because it's a money thing. I think that eventually we're going to run out of room, and it's really inconvenient now that we found, Amazon, where we don't have to go shopping anymore. Eventually, food is going to be the same way.
Yep.
Grocery store, like how? When was the last time you went to the mall? Really? How much like online shopping do most people do?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because even when we were talking about the Oculus, like buying it, you're like $400. I was like, fuck that. I could probably find it on Amazon for cheaper, and it'll be at my door the next day. I mean, yeah, that is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
And then you won't ever have to. You'll be able to be in a virtual store, be able to just pick things off the shelf. But yeah, shop. Go ahead.
No. I wasn't. That's basically what I'm saying. Is that eventually we're gonna run out of space. So if we don't make it out, if we don't expand to Mars, realistically, which I hate to be negative, unless there is a monetary value out there, the people in charge will not fund these programs to get there. We got to the moon because we were at Cold War without them. Kennedy wouldn't have sent us to the moon if Russia wasn't trying to do it.
Now we're bored with the moon.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're not going to really go. And that's why I love Elon Musk, because he's doing it because he's like, we need to do it. And I have money. We're going to do it. Yeah. But like, you really think that like our government is going to send us to Mars and tell NASA be like, we need to get to Mars by the end of the century? If there's no money, the senators and everybody in Congress is not going to be like, we need to get there. They're like, why? There's no fun. Why don't we have a civilization, a group of people living in the moon? Because there's no reason to, money-wise.
Yeah.
And science isn't what drives us. It's money. It's money. And it's sad, but it's true. And I think in the future, it's more likely, I think, that we are going to run out of space and overpopulate before we get to Mars or to the moon and start growing into space. So what's going to happen, we're going to need to have more places to live and less places to go. So what's going to go first? The malls. They're already going. The malls are already going.
Yeah.
People don't go, they shop online. That's the first step. Eventually, everyone's going to have VR. And like, I think VR eventually will be literally glasses.
Yeah.
Literally glasses to where like, you're just going to go sit down and a wife is going to sit down on the couch and just go like this. And it's just going to be full VR. Yeah. And she's just going to be like walking around. Like, I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe she grabs remotes and she's going to pick and choose clothes and food. And she, like, who's to say that you can't grab a virtual, like, what's it called? Like, what do they call the things at grocery stores? Like a wall,
shelves.
The shelves. And she can't just sit on her couch and just browse shelves and say, all right, black beans, rice, whatever, put them on here. And then say, pay, click pay, take her glasses off. And the next thing you know, 3-4 hours later, it arrives at her door. Why would she have to leave? Why would somebody have to go into work like and say, hey, I need to drive 45 minutes to get to an office to sit at a computer to talk to somebody to the left of me when I can literally go into a separate room, sit down in a chair, put on my glasses, and go on a computer, and somebody's right next to you. And I'll tell you why. It's already happening. There's an app on the VR called Big Screen. Big Screen is basically like a movie theater / like big game, like home theater type. And they have a big screen, and you can throw up your PC on there. You just stream it. So you could put on YouTube, you could put on, the football game, you could put on a movie, whatever, and stream it to people. So you can put your own laptop on a big, large, like, movie theater, and people can come into your room and sit down next to you and
so
watch it with you.
Sharing a screen.
You're sharing a screen.
Okay.
Exactly. And so you get that, but then who's to say that you can't make an office setting out of it? And everybody has their little avatar, and they can move their little avatar to different seats. They can stand up and walk around, and they can do things. So who's to say you can't develop a virtual, like, workplace where everyone has their cubicle, and you just put on your glasses and you stay at home, you never leave, and you just walk virtually because it's going to be so good, and use a computer. You can already use a computer. All you need is literally like your keyboard and your mouse, and you can hook up to your laptop, and you can use it in virtual reality. They have them for PCs and for Mac, where it's just a virtual screen, and you can just stream it and use it inside of virtual reality. A lot of people on subreddit who are coders do that. They just do it in there because the screens are a lot bigger, and you can get in there and you can see more of it. And all they need is just that. So who's to say that in the future you won't just go to work by getting a code? I'd say, all right, congratulations, you're now going to work for my company. The code is 4652. You type that in, and you're going to end up in our virtual room. And I'm going to be like, hey, my virtual self is going to be like, hey, Dustin, welcome to work. Let me show you to where you are. And you're going to sit down, and that's going to be your thing. And then all you have physically is going to be just, your thing. Yeah. And you can talk to the person next to you through your mic, and you can see them. Like, you're not touching anyone at work. So why do you give a fuck? All you got to do is talk to each other and show each other data. You can do that virtually. I think that it's not going to get to the point where it's just going to be like, it's going to make working in person obsolete. Because I'm pretty sure past generations said the exact same thing about FaceTime, which is awesome. So basically what this is it's a communication tool. It can turn into a communication tool about how I can communicate with you from across the world in such a way that it seems like I'm there in person. You said this about FaceTime?
No. I'm saying like this. So this VR tool in a business application just turns it into a communication tool. Because I can, so say you were in fucking Australia or something, and we're like, all right, we need to sit down and have a meeting.
All right, good day.
And we sit down, and the way that VR can do it is that it seems like it would seem like this in person, sitting across the table from each other. Maybe the graphics are so indistinguishable from real life that we couldn't even tell. And then when we take the glasses off, we're out of it. But we have the technology to basically be in a meeting with somebody across the world in the same room with them in the form of being on a TV screen. I've seen it with my meetings that the internet's fast enough, whatever, that there's no glitches, there's no problems with it. So it just looks like they're sitting through a window basically with the TV screen.
Of course.
And I've seen it firsthand as my company has launched other markets. They will still spend thousands of dollars for people to go out there in person and train the people in person instead of rely on the technologies. Even though you can communicate with them seamlessly in person, talk to them in real time, like with FaceTime and those type of apps. But there's still something about that in person that, like just a couple weeks ago.
Do you think it's like touch, like being able to shake someone's hand?
I don't know.
Do you think it's like something that's outside of like our being, that's just like knowing when there's another human being in front of you, like the feeling of knowing of like.
See, I think it's still some monkey shit some lizard shit in our brain about it, or it might be that
lizards, monkeys. We can get into religion later.
That no matter how good this technology is, we're still so far away from it actually producing a simulation that's indistinguishable. Because sight, smell, everything, even as great as this VR is, as beautiful as this, if we can get these graphics basically indistinguishable, we're still going to have sight, sound, spatial awareness, all this stuff that's not gonna simulate in-person stuff perfectly, or at least we're not even close to it yet.
We're not close for sure.
We have the idea, and we have, all right, so we're going to take care of the two senses, the sight, and we're going to be able to play some noise in the back,
maybe hear, touch, maybe.
yeah, and you know, even
right now it's just sight, it's sight, hearing, it's hearing, and a little bit of touch. I think. A little bit of touch, because you're not actually touching it, but you're reaching out and like grabbing.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And I think that we get to the point where we can cross. So you've heard the argument that we don't have 5 senses. We have way more than 5 senses.
I've always thought
with the balance stuff, and so when we get to the point where we can start simulating all of those, then it may have real application elsewhere. So in a business world, but I mean, if we were born 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we've been saying the same thing about the first time that you could maybe have a video call with somebody over your laptop. You'll be like, oh shit, man, I don't need to go in the office anymore because I can talk to this, because I can Skype this person.
How many people said in the 70s could have said like, man, I got to go on a business trip to Japan. Wouldn't it be great if I could just talk to this person like face to face? Like not even just like through the phone, just like face to face in person. Like could fix that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even so, as I said, this is just a communication tool when it becomes a business application. Right now, it's for entertainment purposes.
And I like the fact that when you say like, what about when it does simulate like actual, like what we perceive as reality, physics, you know, as graphics, you know, what we think like this is full HD. This is what we believe because we've always known this is what's full HD.
Well, have you seen them talk about what's the resolution of our eyes?
No.
Resolution of our eyes is shit. So you always have a blind spot in your eyes, and you're always so focused in. It's like you're looking through binoculars the whole time.
Yeah.
So when you think about having a clear picture of anything like that, if I were to take a snapshot of my eyes right here, right now, and put it on a photograph and show it to you, you'd be like, what the fuck is that?
It'd be blurry.
Yeah, because I got my little thing right here.
You got your focus.
I've got a blind
I'm focusing
spot
on you, and I know that the fish tank is right there, but I can't really make out what it is.
So the same way that you said, with the porn thing, it's not gonna be great in its current form, no matter how great we make it. I think that the visual simulation isn't going to be as great because, like, when you ask what's the resolution of our eye, you can't put it in terms of like pixels or LEDs, or you can't put in the terms that we're currently using for how clear is this picture, because it's completely different than how our eye works. So they would have to revamp how we're projecting these visuals to a point that's just a complete completely to how this works, how our eyes work.
Yeah. Well, I think we should take a little break.
Is it time for another?
I think it's time. Yeah. Well, we finished our bourbon. We finished our scotch.
Now we got beers.
But maybe we can have a little bit more. But
we got.
I want to continue the whole VR, like life is a simulation thing that we're getting to. But I think we're gonna need some more time for that. So we'll cut this one short.
We need like 3 podcasts.
We'll get some snacks. We'll get some snacks, and then we'll come back. Maybe finish it off, or maybe we'll just decide to do some stories. But stick in. And first part's done, bud.
Cue my theme song that I picked for this.